You too, we are back today talking about Matisse, and we're going to be doing some collaging today of something we did last term with Monet that we've actually seen in quite a few Matisse artworks. Today we're going to be collaging some flowers. So there's lots of different ways you can do that, but flowers was something that Matisse used in his artwork a lot. He painted them, he collaged them, they were in vases, they were on their own, and I'm just going to quickly show you a whole bunch of different ones. Boop, 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 boop. Heaps and heaps and heaps of different flowers and different ways to make and create flowers. So some were painted, some were collaged. Today, because we're focusing on our collage skills at the moment, we're going to be using paper. So there's a few different ways that you can make flowers using paper and collaging, but you are going to need today coloured paper if you've got it, or your own homemade one, which you should all know how to do by now if you don't have coloured paper at home, scissors, glue, and your drawing stuff. And we are going to make a beautiful vase of Matisse-inspired flowers. So collect all your things and we'll get started. Woo! Okie dokie, so I've got all my scrap paper in a pile here. I've got my glue stick, I've got my scissors, and I've got a marker today. I normally wouldn't use a marker, I would use a grey lead, but I'm using a marker today so that you can more easily see it on the screen. But you should probably use a grey lead because then we can rub it out if we need to. I've also got my big piece of paper, which I'm going to use as my base or my background. So the last few times we've done this, we've usually used white paper, but today I felt like something a little bit different, so I'm going to use blue. Now, when we made our Matisse fish tank, we started off with our biggest shape. And that was going to be at the very back of all the other things. Today, we're going to do things a little bit differently because our biggest shape is going to be the vase that we make the vase. And we actually want that to be the top shape because we want it to cover all of the stems that we make. So it's actually not going to be the first thing we make today. I'm actually going to start by drawing about halfway down my page, just a little bit of a circle. And this is where I'm going to attach all of my flowers and their stems to. Then the lucky last thing I'm going to do is put my vase over the top. So I'm actually going to start today by just making some stems of all different lengths. And I might make some flowers too. Some leaves. I'm going to make some straight. And I'm going to make some wavy. And I'm going to make some different lengths. But I'm going to anchor them all to that little circle. So when I stick it all down, all of my little stems are going to come in to that little circle shape. I'm going to do some more. The good thing about doing collages is that you can also just cover things to make them shorter too. You don't necessarily have to cut it all the same length all at once. And you know what? I'm going to cut that one in half. And I'm going to do a thick one too. And cut that in half. All right, so easy peasy so far. I've got a whole bunch of stems to make some flowers for. Now, like I said, I'm also going to make some leaves, and there's a few ways you can do this. The first one is to just draw them and then cut them out, but I'm actually going to do something a little bit fancier so that I can make a few leaves really quickly. So I've cut myself a little strip here. I'm going to fold it in half. Doesn't matter that it's got that dangly bit, and I'm going to fold it in half again. Now this might be a little bit tricky to cut because I've got lots of layers here, but I think it'll be okay. Then I'm going to draw just one leaf. And I'm going to cut that shape out. So when I'm collaging, I kind of like to make all my shapes, or at least a lot of my shapes first, and then I can play around with them and stick them all together however I like. So I folded that, and now I have 4 leaves. Then I can even be really fancy and fold them in half a little bit. And then this is like making those Monet flowers that we did. We can cut different shapes out to make them a bit more interesting. And then we've got some cool patterns in here. So I've got a couple of leaves, I'll make some more and I'll make those ones a bit interesting, and I've got some stems. I'm going to make a couple more leaves, then I'll be back. All right, so I made my next lot of leaves a slightly different shape, and then I'm going to start trying to put this all together. So basically what I'm just going to do is I'm going to put heaps and heaps of glue on here. Remember, if you do this, you need to let it dry before you put it away or anything like that. I keep all my stuff in a big display folder like our portfolios at school. So I need to make sure I let this dry before I put it away. And then I'm going to put all my stems, probably not all of them to start off with, pointing towards my little circle I drew. I'm probably not going to do all of them to start off with, but I want my flower vase to be really, really, really full of flowers. So I am actually going to use quite a lot. And one more. So I'm going to have to make at the moment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to make, you know what, let's just call it an even 8 flowers. That's how many I'm going to make for now. And I can always add more if I want to. So I'm going to keep my stems just in case. And I'm going to leave my leaves off for now. And I'm going to start making some flowers. There are lots and lots of different ways that you can make flowers. And we've looked at some of them before. I like to do the way we learned last term when we looked at Monet. So I'm going to start with a square piece of paper, and I've just got like a rough little square, this one here. I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to fold it in half again, and then I'm going to draw a little shape that's going to turn into my flower. So I think I'm going to do the bunny ears shape. Now remember, the important thing with this is that it needs to be drawn on the corner that's completely closed. See how this side is all flappy and open? We don't want to do our flowers there. We want to do our petals in the corner that's completely closed and doesn't open. So I'm going to do bunny ears, and this is going to be the start of my first flower. Like I said, I would normally get you guys to do this in grey lead, and I would normally do it in grey lead too, but I think the grey lead is pretty hard to see on coloured paper on the camera, so I'm doing it in markup, but I don't think it's a good idea. All right, I've got my little bunny ears, and then I unfold it, and I've got the start of a beautiful flower. So I think I'm going to start by putting this one right up the top, and I don't really mind if this dangles off my page. I think I like it like that. Flower number 1, easy. And you know what? I think I need to put a little bit of something in the middle of it just to make it a little bit more bright and interesting. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make just another little tiny flower. So I'm going to do the same thing, fold it in half, fold it in half again. Whoop. This is going to be a little baby flower. And I'm going to do this one a slightly different shape. I'm going to do this one kind of like a love heart, so a little bit more round. And then this little one, I didn't cut it much rounder though. It's still quite pointy, but that's okay. And then that can go in the middle. There we go. The other way that you can do flowers, so you can fold them and cut them like that in the ways that we've done before. Or the other thing you can do is you can actually just draw them. So because I'm using the marker, I'm actually going to draw on the back of my coloured paper. so that I can't see the marker like I can on that little yellow one. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw whatever shape flower I like. I'm going to be a bit experimental with this one. And then I can cut that out. I'm going to keep that little bit for my scrap paper box. And I can cut that out. And then that becomes my second flower. So you can use both methods if you like I'm going to, where you fold and then cut, or you can just draw them and then cut them out. Depends what shapes you want. And then there already is my second flower. Now I'm going to make mine overlap a bit because I'm going to make a really full bunch of flowers. All right, I'm going to keep going and I'm going to try and fill up my flowers. So I'm going to fast forward the next bit. So I don't think I'm moving that quick. Okay, so I have made my millions of different flowers in lots of different ways. And now the next thing I'm going to do is make my vase. So I actually think today I'm going to make my vase green. Oh, actually, I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it white, actually, and maybe do some black. So I'm going to have a look at how big my little vase needs to be. And I'm just going to quickly draw out a shape. So I'm going to start at the top. And I think that will be a good size for it. Oh, I've wasted quite a bit of paper by drawing right in the middle there. But I can still save some of these bits for my scrap paper box. It's come in very handy for me at the moment because we've been doing so much collage. So this is going to be my vase for all my beautiful flowers. I'm going to cover this in glue. Like I said, if you need to pack up and put this away somewhere, you're going to need to wait for it to dry first. I actually want you to sit on top like that. And see how on my artwork some of my flowers actually stick up a little bit? I did that on purpose. I decided that I wanted it to have a little bit of 3D to it, so it actually sticks up a little bit. And then lucky last for some finishing touches, I'm just going to do some leaves that are dangling over the top. And then I'm going to decorate my vase a little bit. So I think I'm just going to put some black stripes on this vase. So I'm just going to make them, actually I'm going to put some circles and maybe some triangles. So I'm going to do exactly like what I've been doing for my flowers. I'm going to make a little square, I'm folding it, and then just going to cut that. I might cut them in half too, actually. I think I want them a bit smaller. And then I think I'm going to use these to make a bit of a pattern. I think that will be cool. And same with my, Actually, I think I want semicircles. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, no, I'm going to do semicircles. I'm being fussy today. And then I can use these to make a bit of a pattern on my lovely white vase. So I think I'm going to do like this. Bit of a patterned stripe with my triangles. Oops. You can decorate your vase however you want. This is just how I'm choosing to do it, and this is just one way you can do things. Like we know in art, there's lots and lots and lots and lots of different ways to do the same thing. So whatever works for you is fantastic. Oh, need some more glue. And a little bit more on the triangles. Gonna go like that. All right, and there we have it. That is my Henry Matisse inspired flower vase. Now, I don't know about you, but I've made quite a bit of mess. So I think that is the number one thing I need to do now, is go and tidy up all my mess, make sure I put any pieces of paper I can't use anymore in the recycle bin, and anything I can keep into my scrap paper box. All right, year 2, good luck today making your Matisse vase. I can't wait to see these full, beautiful bunches of flowers inspired by Matisse. I hope that you've got lots of nice and bright colors. And remember, if you don't have a color paper that you want, make your own. I've used a little bit of both today, and you're welcome to do the same thing as well. I think our own colored paper makes it a little bit more interesting, to be honest, and adds some texture. All right, have fun, be good. I'll see you soon.